Do you still remember the faces once covered in blood, tears, and glory in Braveheart? The film once set hearts ablaze with courage and the yearning for freedom. But now, prepare to be shocked. After 30 years, some lost everything. Some grew wealthier beyond imagination, and some endured tragedies that will leave you choked with emotion. This is the cast of Braveheart in 1995, and today, you will hardly recognize them. Patrick McGoohan as King Edward I. At 67 years old, Patrick McGoohan delivered in Braveheart, 1995, a villain that sent chills down the audience's spine, King Edward I, or Longshanks. With his icy gaze and ruthless cruelty, McGoohan portrayed a scheming king so vividly that he became a symbol of evil on screen. This role earned him recognition as one of the greatest villains in film history, leaving a powerful mark late in his career. Patrick Joseph McGoohan was born on March 19, 1928, in Queens, New York, USA. Behind the glory, however, he lived a private tragedy few could see: isolation and rejection of Hollywood life. Because of his strict Catholic beliefs, he bluntly refused many opportunities to become a global star, including the offer to play James Bond, simply because he would not accept sex scenes. That rigidity made him an unpredictable artist, but also distanced him from the mainstream of cinema. Friends and colleagues slowly drifted away, and McGoohan withdrew, living in seclusion and rarely appearing in public. Patrick McGoohan passed away on January 13, 2009, at the age of 80, from heart disease and the frailty of old age. He left behind a net worth estimated at around $10 million, mostly from acting and screenwriting. McGoohan departed quietly, but his chilling image as Longshanks in Braveheart and his legacy as an artist who dared to defy convention still remain, leaving audiences with feelings of both admiration and sorrow. Mel Gibson as William Wallace. When Mel Gibson was 39 years old, he was not only playing William Wallace, the Scottish hero who rose up against English rule, but also directing Braveheart in 1995. That fiery performance, combined with his vision behind the camera, brought him 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. It was the moment that transformed him from an action star into a true cinematic legend, engraving his name in Hollywood history. Mel Gerard Gibson was born on January 3, 1956, in Peekskill, New York, USA. Yet behind the glory was a darkness that shocked the world, a relentless battle with alcoholism and uncontrollable rage. In 2006, when he was arrested for driving under the influence, he lashed out with shocking anti-Semitic remarks, causing the world to turn its back on him. That same year, his 26-year marriage to Robin Moore collapsed in bitterness, ending in one of the most expensive divorces in Hollywood history, along with custody disputes and allegations of violence. It was a personal tragedy that turned him from a silver screen hero into a symbol of downfall, leaving audiences both sympathetic and disappointed. More than 2 decades later, those ghosts have never truly left, but Gibson has remained standing. By 2025, at 69 years old, he continues to act and direct, even if his career no longer shines as brightly as before. With an estimated fortune of $1.25 billion, mostly from films and real estate, Gibson is still one of Hollywood's most powerful figures. But above all, his image today is not only that of a cinematic legend, but also a man scarred by life itself, a living testament to the fragile line between glory and tragedy. Brian Cox as Argyle Wallace. Brian Cox played Argyle Wallace, the uncle who gave William Wallace wisdom, protection, and guidance into manhood in Braveheart, 1995, when Cox was 49 years old. For him, the role was a crucial piece in a career that stretched from British theater to Hollywood screens, proving he could make even a supporting role unforgettable. Brian Dennis Cox was born on June 1, 1946, in Dundee, Scotland. Yet his childhood was like a dark tragedy. His father took his own life when Cox was only 8. His mother fell into mental illness, and his brother died from sickness. These relentless losses shaped a lonely child, growing up with pain no one could carry for him. Later, during the 1980s, he slipped into heavy alcoholism, nearly losing both his career and reputation. Those shadows gave his performances a raw authenticity, a sense of pain that never completely disappeared. By 2025, Brian Cox is 79 years old and still acting, taking part in major projects, including Succession, a role that won him an Emmy. He often stirs controversy with blunt remarks, but that too has made him distinctive. With a fortune estimated at $15 million, largely from film and theater, Cox stands today as a living monument, provocative, respected, and unforgettable. James Cosmo as Campbell. At 47 years old, James Cosmo appeared as Campbell in Braveheart, 1995, a loyal Scottish warrior symbolizing fatherhood and steadfast strength. This character not only added depth to the story, but also reinforced Cosmo's reputation as an actor specialized in historical roles. From that moment, he became a familiar face to audiences who loved epic cinema. James Ronald Gordon Cosmo was born on May 24, 1948, in Clydebank, Scotland. Yet behind the toughness he displayed on screen, his childhood was harsh. His father was an unknown actor, and the family lived in poverty, forcing Cosmo to take on many manual jobs to survive. Just as his career began to take off, tragedy struck again. While filming Troy, 2004, he suffered a severe fall from a horse, breaking his ribs and requiring a long recovery. Those months of immobility became a terrifying challenge, forcing him to confront the possibility that his career might be over. These experiences gave Cosmo's performances a weight of sorrow that audiences could feel. By 2025, James Cosmo is 77 years old and still active in film and television, most notably remembered for his role as Jeor Mormont in Game of Thrones. He lives a simple life, avoiding the spotlight, and has openly expressed political views such as his opposition to Brexit. With a net worth estimated at around $5 million, mainly from historical films and television, Cosmo stands as a symbol of resilience, a real-life warrior who overcame poverty and accidents to keep surviving on screen. Brendan Gleeson as Hamish Campbell. In 1995, Brendan Gleeson was 40 years old when he appeared in Braveheart as Hamish Campbell, William Wallace's loyal and powerful friend. His character was both humorous and a warm anchor amid the brutal battlefield, creating an emotional balance for the film. With this role, Gleeson officially caught Hollywood's attention, opening a brilliant journey for someone who had once been just a teacher. Brendan Gleeson was born on March 29, 1955, in Dublin, Ireland. Yet his life's journey also carried deep scars. In 2017, in Ireland, he was involved in a serious car accident, suffering multiple fractures and nearly losing his life. His career seemed on the verge of ending, but Gleeson returned to the set after months of recovery, carrying the mark of a survivor. Alongside this, family tragedy struck. His marriage of more than 30 years to Mary Weldon quietly ended in 2018, forcing him to face a pain no one could share. A humorous man on screen, but behind the scenes, he carried a heavy heart. By 2025, at the age of 70, Brendan Gleeson continues acting, leaving strong impressions with weighty roles in Bruges and The Banshees of Inisherin. He lives privately with his 4 sons, 2 of whom have also entered the acting profession. With a net worth estimated at around $8 million, Gleeson remains one of the prominent faces of Irish cinema, even though the shadows of personal loss have never left him. Sean Lawlor as Malcolm Wallace. In 1995, Sean Lawlor played Malcolm Wallace, the brave father of William Wallace, in Braveheart at the age of 41. Though his appearance was brief in the film's opening minutes, his character provided the emotional foundation, planting in the audience the image of a parent willing to sacrifice everything so his son could continue the dream of freedom. This role ensured that Lawlor would be remembered as an important part of this cinematic history. Sean Lawlor was born around 1954 in Dublin, Ireland. His life was drowned by a relentless battle with alcohol. From a young age, strong liquor became both his companion and his enemy, destroying his happiness and career. Episodes of drunkenness led to multiple arrests and ultimately ruined his first marriage. A car accident in 2001 was like the final blow, severely injuring his legs and leaving his ability to take on roles nearly paralyzed. An actor once chosen to embody the image of a strong father, in real life, he became a lost figure, lonely in a foreign land, with no wife, no children, only lingering pain, and a body gradually giving out. On January 20th, 2009, Sean Lawlor collapsed from a sudden heart attack at the age of 55. His reckless lifestyle, alcohol, cigarettes, and years of solitude, was considered the main reason for his premature end. His net worth was estimated at around $1 million, mostly from small roles on screen. Sophie Marceau as Princess Isabel. At just 29, Sophie Marceau captivated international audiences with her role as Princess Isabel in Braveheart, 1995. Her intelligent, graceful, and compassionate character brought a romantic thread that balanced the brutality with tenderness. This role transformed Marceau from a French star into a global cinema icon. Sophie Danielle. Sylvie Maupu was born on November 17, 1966, in Paris, France. After the glory of Braveheart, her private life fell apart in cruel fashion. Her long relationship with director Andrzej Żuławski, much older than her, ended in 1996 in bitterness, amid allegations of violence and emotional harm. She had a child with him, but the breakup left an unerasable wound in the soul of a woman who was constantly under the world's scrutiny. Behind her dazzling beauty, Marceau endured betrayal and public judgment, a tragedy only she could fully feel. In 2025, Sophie Marceau is 58 and still devoted to cinema, though more focused on directing and screenwriting. She moves between France and the U.S., preserving her independence while publicly fighting ageist stereotypes, refusing plastic surgery to cling to fame. With a net worth estimated at $20 million, largely from international and French cinema, Marceau today remains proof that after scandal and heartbreak, a star can still survive through strength and resilience. Angus Macfadyen as Robert the Bruce. When Angus Macfadyen was 32 years old, he etched his name into Braveheart, 1995, as Robert the Bruce, the Scottish leader torn between honor and betrayal. His character was the key to the film, bringing a layer of inner conflict that made the story not only about battles on the field, but also about struggles within the human soul. This role brought Macfadyen close to stardom, opening Hollywood's doors for him. Angus Macfadyen was born on September 21, 1963, in Glasgow, Scotland. After the dazzling success of Braveheart, he fell into a darkness few expected. The pressure of carrying the face of such a historic figure, coupled with Hollywood's relentless expectations, broke him down mentally. Years of depression caused Macfadyen to withdraw, turning down valuable opportunities and nearly vanishing from the screen just when his career needed to rise. There were periods when he cut off contact with friends, living in seclusion with anxiety gnawing away at him. A talent once praised, he ultimately became a painful example of how the spotlight of fame can sometimes be the very fire that consumes an artist's soul. By 2025, Angus Macfadyen, at 61, lives quietly in England, occasionally returning to film and theater. Although he reprised the role of Robert the Bruce in the 2019 film of the same name, his career has never regained the momentum of Braveheart. His net worth is estimated at $4 million, mostly from film and theater. He remains proof of the fragility between triumph and downfall, a talented artist shackled by inner shadows. Alun Armstrong as Lord Mornay. In 1995, Alun Armstrong appeared in Braveheart at age 49 as Lord Mornay, a Scottish nobleman full of scheming and betrayal. His character did not occupy much screen time, but his coldness and treachery infuriated audiences, becoming a vital piece of the chain of betrayals that William Wallace had to face. For Armstrong, this role marked a step that brought him greater international recognition beyond the British theatre stage. Alun Armstrong was born on July 17, 1946, in Anfield Plain, County Durham, England. The most painful tragedy of his life came in 2010, when one of his 3 sons died from a serious illness. That loss tore Armstrong's heart apart, leaving a wound that would never heal. A father who believed he could protect his child with love and a lifetime of experience was helpless as he watched his son fade away. After the funeral, Armstrong fell into deep depression, often thinking of leaving the stage and the lights to retreat into darkness. He once admitted there were nights when he sat alone in his room, leafing through old scripts while tears fell endlessly. An artist who had devoted more than half a century to the arts, he became a man living day by day with the haunting pain of loss, struggling not to collapse under family tragedy. By 2025, Armstrong is 79 years old, still living in England with his wife Susan Ellen, whom he married in 1971. Though he has avoided Hollywood, he continues acting in television and theater, best known for the series New Tricks. With a net worth estimated at around $3 million, mostly from British television, Armstrong is considered one of the most enduring veteran actors, even though the darkness of family loss has never left him. Catherine McCormack as Murren McClana. At just 23, Catherine McCormack was cast as Murren in Braveheart, 1995. Her character, the beloved wife of William Wallace, appears only in the opening portion of the film, but Murren's death serves as the emotional catalyst that ignites the story. The role brought McCormack global recognition and opened the door to an international film and stage career. Catherine McCormack was born on April 3, 1972, in Epsom, Surrey, England. Behind the glamour, she endured a dark period when she became embroiled in a scandalous affair with director Ron Frick in 1998. The highly publicized breakup made her the focus of tabloid scrutiny, damaging her career and plunging her into personal crisis. Later, while appearing in 28 Weeks Later, 2007, she fell into depression again due to the pressures of her role and critical reception. A young actress once praised as the muse of Braveheart, in real life she endured successive blows of love and career. By 2025, Catherine McCormack, now 53, remains committed to the arts but has chosen a private life in England. Married to Joseph Prodeur since 2010 with 1 child, she lives quietly, far from Hollywood's spotlight. Her net worth is estimated at $2 million, primarily from film and stage work. McCormack today is proof that one can rise again after scandal, choosing peace over fame, even if the scars of the past remain. Ian Bannen as the leper. When Ian Bannen was 67 years old, he appeared in Braveheart in 1995, portraying Robert the Bruce's leprous father. Though his screen time was brief, the character of the leper, with his cunning and haunting presence, left a lasting impression on audiences. It was one of the final roles in Bannen's career, adding another indelible mark to historical cinema. Ian Bannen was born on June 29, 1928, in Airdrie, Scotland. The greatest pain of his life began when his second wife, Marilyn Sallock, passed away unexpectedly, leaving a void that could not be filled. Left with an empty house and harrowing memories, Bannen turned to alcohol as his only escape from reality. But instead of soothing him, it dragged him further into the abyss. Long nights alone in a drunken haze, heavy days on set, and friends gradually drifting away. Once an Oscar nominee for Flight of the Phoenix, 1965, and a fixture on international red carpets, he now withdrew to the Scottish countryside, living among empty fields but profound solitude. He isolated himself, no longer wishing to connect with the world, allowing memories and loss to gnaw at him day by day, turning his final years into a shadowed journey. On November 3, 1999, Ian Bannen tragically died in a car accident in Scotland at the age of 71. His vehicle collided head-on with a truck, bringing a sorrowful end to a brilliant career. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $2 million, derived from British and American film roles. Though gone, the image of the leper remains etched in audiences' minds as both terrifying and tragic. Tommy Flanagan as Morrison. Tommy Flanagan played Morrison in Braveheart, 1995, a loyal warrior of William Wallace, when he was 30 years old. Though just one of the supporting faces, he added strength and cohesion to the rebel group, turning a minor role into an essential part of the film's ensemble. This was also an important early step that later helped Flanagan become a familiar face on American television. Tommy Flanagan was born on July 3, 1965, in Glasgow, Scotland. The most haunting tragedy of his life occurred in 1992 when he was attacked by a local gang with knives outside a nightclub. The deep cuts left permanent scars on his face, forever altering his appearance. Around the same time, Flanagan fell into heroin addiction, narrowly surviving multiple overdoses. Behind the scars was a violent and dark past, a young actor standing on the edge between life and death, struggling to escape both addiction and the shadows that surrounded him. By 2025, Tommy Flanagan is 60, living in Los Angeles with his third wife. He continues to act in film and television, most notably as Chibs in Sons of Anarchy, 2008 to 2014, a role that brought him late-career fame. With an estimated net worth of $6 million, primarily from television and film, Flanagan stands as proof that even after violence, addiction, and personal collapse, a person can rise again and rewrite their destiny. Peter Hanley as Prince Edward. In 1995, Peter Hanley joined Braveheart at age 31 as Prince Edward, the timid and conflicted English heir. His character was not a warrior on the battlefield, but a man caught in inner conflict, torn between duty and weakness. Though the role earned no awards, it helped Hanley establish himself on the international stage and introduced him to audiences beyond Ireland. Peter Hanley was born on April 5, 1964, in Dublin, Ireland. After the brief spotlight of Braveheart, he turned to theater, only to face a cruel setback. A failed investment in 2000 wiped out years of savings. Debt and career stagnation pushed Hanley into financial and emotional crisis, forcing him to struggle to find a new path. It was a psychological wound not easily healed, turning a once promising talent into someone living cautiously, hesitant to seize opportunities. By 2025, Peter Hanley is 61, living privately in Ireland with his wife, Linda Hanley, and their 2 children. He continues working in theater and smaller films but avoids media attention and the glare of fame. His net worth is estimated at only $1 million, mostly from stage and television work. A clear reflection of a life full of turbulence and the choice to live quietly after fleeting glory. David O'Hara as Stephen. Also in 1995, David O'Hara appeared in Braveheart as Stephen, the eccentric Irish warrior with a humorous streak, when he was 30 years old. His character became a comic relief amid the brutal battles, making audiences laugh while leaving a lasting impression. This role helped O'Hara secure his place on the international screen and opened doors in Hollywood. David O'Hara was born on July 9, 1965, in Glasgow, Scotland. From a young age, he carried a deep wound. His father abandoned the family, leaving him to grow up in poverty and without parental love. Those voids followed him into adulthood, leading O'Hara into alcohol and cocaine in the 2000s. In 2003, he was arrested for disorderly conduct while intoxicated, halting his career and severely damaging his reputation. Moreover, his hot temper often led to clashes with directors, and he was even temporarily blacklisted after The Departed, 2006. The man who once brought laughter to audiences lived in a cycle of loneliness and self-destruction off-screen. By 2025, David O'Hara is 60, living a reclusive life in England after a failed marriage, without children. He still takes occasional supporting roles, but his career never exploded as expected following Braveheart. His net worth is estimated at only $1.5 million from film and television work. Stephen remains remembered as a funny character, but O'Hara's life is a bitter testament to the contrast between on-screen laughter and off-stage tears. 3 decades have passed since Braveheart stirred the hearts of millions, and the lives of its cast have seen every high and low, some reaching the pinnacle, others falling into scandal, and some experiencing irreparable loss. Looking back in 2025, you may be shocked at the transformations so extreme they are almost unrecognizable. So, who among them surprises you the most after all these years? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to discover more shocking behind-the-scenes stories.